Hey guys, thanks for clicking on this one. I wanted to do a bunch of short little clips here in just for tips and tricks, 2-3 minute videos. Instead of having them in a long fishing video, have them right here at your fingertips where you can get to them quick. I'm gonna do a whole mess of these. So I'm right between two storms right now, so try to squeeze this one in. I talk to a lot of people. I'll see strangers on a dock. People text me all the time, and I'll just ask them random questions just to get a feeling for what's going on out there, in the fishing world. And one thing that is universally kind of misunderstood is how to set your drag. I'll ask somebody, say, what do you do when you set your drag? Why are you setting your drag a certain way? And they say, well, I set it so my line doesn't break. And that's pretty common, right? You set your drag so your line doesn't break. Sure, that's true, but you don't set it to your line. You set it to your rod, how your rod performs. And that coincides right with your line rating. Now this is simple, I'm not gonna get complex here. This is super duper simple. Start with your line rating on your rod. So this is a Striper Stealth rod. This here says mono right here, 17 to 30 pound mono. Okay, now that means this rod will perform its best with drag settings for 17 to 30 pound mono. You can put whatever line you want on here. You could put a 120 pound test, you could put 200 pound wire. Anything you want to put on here, you can put on here, as long as you use drag settings for 17 to 30 pound mono. The backbone on this rod here is right here, just about, this is your first guide here. It's somewhere right here in your second and third guide. When this starts to flex here into your backbone, that's where the rod performs the best. So when you tighten your drag, you want to tighten your drag into the backbone. So when you're fighting your fish, the rod bends into the backbone before drag pays out. This is true with almost any rod. I'll grab this rod here. Here's the bait caster. The backbone is right around here. It's very similar. The backbone is almost in the same place in lots of rods, unless you get into some very specific specified rods. But most of them are right in here, right between the second and third guide area. So when you're fighting your fish, you want the rod to bend down into your backbone when it pays out drag. Now, if your rod only bends this far and drag pays out, your drag is too loose. Tighten it till it starts to flex down into the backbone during the fight. If your drag is too tight and your rod flexes below the guides and into the reel seat, you're gonna break something. You're gonna break the rod, you're gonna break a guide, you might break the line, but it's not designed, the rod is not designed to perform flexing below the backbone. The meat, the sweet spot is right here in the backbone in your fishing rod, and that's where you want to fight your fish. So again, if your drag is too loose, it's going to pay out before the backbone. If it's too tight, it's going to pay out after it flexes beyond the backbone. So don't worry so much about your line, what line you have on, what pound test. Just look at your rating and set your drag for that rating. You can use whatever line you want. I have 50 pound test on this little tiny reel. If I put 50 pound test on here and cranked it down for drag for 50 pound test, I would be breaking rods. I'd be breaking guides and everything else. So I set my drag to my rating. I can use whatever line I want. The only thing you got to keep in mind now is if you get snagged. So I have 50 pound test on here. This is a light rod, it's not rated for that. If I get a snag, I have to be careful. Just keep your rod straight when you work your snags out. Be a little gentle with them, take your time. Don't flex and try to muscle your snag out if you have line that exceeds your rating, because you will break things and bad things will happen. I hope that makes sense. Try to keep it as quick and as simple as possible. If you have an idea for a video, please put it in the comments. I'll do my best to cover as many as I can, and I try to answer every question in the comments too. If I missed yours, please put it in there. I promise I do everything I can to answer all of them. And I really do appreciate it if you subscribe and like. It helps me immensely. Stay safe on the water. Leave a few for me. Love you. Mean it.